Re-engage. This is not what my font looked like earlier, so that's a surprise for me. Um, Let me just try that one more time. This is what it should look like. We're going to deal with it. Font is not that big a deal. Um, Thanks again for being here. I'm very excited to launch this. I was very pleased with my slides until I'm sharing my screen out right now. They look different. So I'm going to power through. So today we're going to launch Mission Reengage and need to tell you that this is how many members we have currently suspended or resigned. That is about 55% of that is suspended today as the renewal deadline was yesterday. So a little bit later, we're going to talk about, consequences. It's not a big deal, but we would like for them to come back and renew. And so we can't do that without you, and we do need your help. When I stopped sharing my screen, I turned off my speaker notes. There we go. So small distinction, this number is the number of lapsed members. Resigned means they've indicated they do not intend to continue their membership. They've communicated that to AGA national staff, and it's been marked in the system. Suspended means that they have not yet renewed, so it's a little bit lighter, if you will. I may end up using the terms lapsed interchangeably with suspended or resigned, but you'll know those are all sort of the same umbrella. So your mission is to get 25% or more of the members of your chapter who are currently suspended or resigned renewed this month. That may seem like a challenge. That's why we're calling this a mission. But I do want you to rest assured we have lots of tools and resources available for you. If this will let me share my Word doc, we'll come back to that. So incentives, if you meet or exceed 25%, win back or people getting renewed, you will get some special recognition at lead because we're very excited for lead. The chapter with the highest win back rate above 25% gets $200 towards chapter logo merch or a chapter event. So that is your choice. I mentioned that we're going to run this for the month of April. So we're considering today the launch, and just to kind of give you a mindset around how this month will go, because it will go by very quickly. You want to take that first week with your chapter leaders, and we're calling it lift off. So planning, maybe you bring in a couple extra volunteers to support with this campaign. Those could be future chapter leaders. Maybe you get them in for this short-term project, and maybe they enjoy volunteering and want to stick around. Week 2, we really want to do that intensive reach out. We have, messaging in place to support that, but we're finding that so much, well, I'm getting myself distracted. Let me come back to that. So establish comms with those chapter leaders that have maybe left the spaceship and get them back on board. Week 3, kind of trajectory check. Who needs another touch point? How's it going? Week 4 is going to be that final burn, that really intensive. If you haven't reached somebody yet, let's find a way to reach them. Of course, the challenge will end on April 30th when your spaceship splashes down. And on May 1st, we will announce the winner, that chapter with the highest percentage. What I was trying to show you is there is a Word doc with a ton of information. I've collapsed all the different sections so that you can see how many sections there are. I'm going to cover most of this at a high level today, but as you can see, there's a lot of information in here for you to refer back to and for you to use for your planning. It looks like somebody sees a blank screen. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen? Okay, great. If you have a blank screen, maybe try jumping out of the Zoom and jump back in. I'm very sorry about that. So this is on chapter resources, or it will be later today. I believe it's currently hidden from you guys, so you didn't get a heads up on the surprise announcement. Thank you for all the thumbs up. And I see we have a question about how to know who is suspended. Yes, you're right. I'm going to cover that later. Okay, so here's our, I'm sorry, I'm a font person, and this is cracking me up that the font is correct over here and not over here, but now y'all got a little preview. So pre-launch, before your chapter leaders are ready to, initiate that, the intensive communication with those suspended and resigned chapter members, here are just a couple notes that I want you to have. We want you to do repeated contact, and I'll talk more about that later, but what we're finding is that as more places do email marketing and people are getting more and more emails, we're paying less attention to emails. And this may resonate with you in your personal life. I know it does for me. I just get so many emails, we can't address all of them every day or right away. So repeated contacts and use multiple methods. If if you have a phone number for somebody, let's try calling them. And this is the most important thing I want to say. You are not bugging them. This is a service they have already signed up for. They have already chosen it. They've already paid for it. You're providing a valuable notification. If they've missed all of our emails about renewing their membership, they may not realize that they are lapsed. And so you reaching out may be the notification that they need to come back. You are not bugging them. If you had, a gym that you went to all the time and you had a really busy week and you missed the renewal notification, you don't want to show up and be surprised at the desk when you get there that you don't have a membership. You want to know that you want to continue that service that you really appreciate. So I kind of mentioned this earlier. You want to assemble your win-back crew. This may be new volunteers. This may be people, past presidents, past treasurers. Many hands make light work, right? Leverage those personal relationships. So as you divvy up the list, and some chapters have longer lists than others, as you divvy up that list, try to grab those people for your list that you have a personal relationship with. I am much more likely to open an email from my best friend from college than from Old Navy. So that's a really important tactic. Please know people don't really answer phone calls from unknown numbers anymore. That doesn't mean you should just hang up. Please leave a voicemail, because I don't answer unknown numbers, but I will listen to the voicemail later. Again, might be the reminder they need to get renewed. If you see on your list of suspended members that a bunch of them work in the same place, maybe you consider outreach to the employer. Has something changed? Has the bill just not been processed yet? What is the circumstance there, and how can we support them? And if you have multiple from the same employer and they are not already an Advantage group, let's get them set up as one. That will help pay their bill quicker and more efficiently next year. But most importantly, lean on your community support. I don't love making phone calls, and we're going to make a lot of them, but it helps me to know that I can, touch base with Susie or anyone on our team, and that other people are doing it across the country. You are not doing this alone. Maybe you want to have a pizza party and the win-back crew goes in separate corners to make their phone calls or something like that. Whatever, makes it more achievable for you. All right, and then how is AGA going to support you for this? We're not just throwing you out in space and saying, come back with more members. We will provide a weekly briefing memo. You'll get the first one of those after this call. Unfortunately for today, with the technology we have, it's only going to one chapter leader. If you have someone listed as a membership chair, it's going to that person. If you don't, Dana pulled a contact for those chapters where we don't have a membership chair. We will also have ground support hours. This is office hours. So I'll be available Tuesdays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Teams. There will be a link. It's in that Word doc. It'll be in the follow-up email. We'll put it so many places you can't miss it. It's office hours, so you're welcome to come and go as you would like. You do not have to attend if you want to block that time off on your calendar, because that's when you want to make your calls or send your emails that week. Please feel free to do so, but it is just a support for you. Also, in that very long Word doc that I showed you, we have scripts for phone calls, for leaving a voicemail. We've got email templates. I've got a long list of sample responses. What are people going to say back to you? And giving you, the script of exactly what you need to know to be able to handle each of those different types of customer service requests. We often find people haven't renewed because they need something from us, whether they need to change their member type, they want to add another chapter. And so, when they don't reach out to us right away, then they maybe just forget. So if you encounter those things, all of the tips on what to do and how to get that changed for them are in there. Many of them include emailing us, but I will come back to that in a little bit. So with those sample responses, like I said, next step with links, I'll show you that in just a moment, and event planning. So I am once again going to jump to that Word doc. All right, and where you have the what to do when they say, I am going to zoom in. I know it's small. So if they say, I'm going to renew, I forgot, thank you for telling me. Great. Can I email you the link? We're removing that obstacle. They don't have to remember later. If they are driving their kids to soccer practice, you are um, you're going to email them that so that it's a reminder when they get on their phone or they get on their computer. The link is right there for them. Uh, if they don't already have the link, they may not be getting our emails, so let's try to check on that. But each of these links with the email address has like the subject line already filled in for you if you click. And there's even a sample email to send to us, so you don't even have to think about what to write us. Okay, you just change the gray parts and hit send. So we're trying to make this as easy and as user-friendly for you. Save you as much time, as much mental energy as possible. So all that being said, gave you a quick glimpse into what all we're providing. If there is another resource or another support that you think would be helpful for more than just your chapter, please let me know. I am not a chapter leader, so I'm sitting in my office trying to guess what you all would like. I hope that I covered it, but please let me know if there's something you think would be helpful. All right, back into the slide deck. We're going to come back to event planning, but we are available. Every time you get an email from, well, a lot of my emails have in the signature line, book a time on my calendar. That is for you. That's for you to use to put time on my calendar without the back and forth of, are you available on Tuesday? Well, how's 4 o'clock? Well, how's 9 o'clock? You can, when you book that, it gets put directly on my calendar and it shows my availability. So please use that. We would love to meet with you, especially if you have not had an event in a while, or maybe the chapter leaders who planned the last event are not currently chapter leaders, whatever that looks like. If you would like some support in getting that planned, please, please, please connect with us. We'd love to do that. I guess I already covered some of this, but when you are making your phone calls, please leave a voicemail. I did include a script in there. Please edit it to sound like you. So if it's too formal or too casual, make it sound like you and practice. Many of you may know I used to be a first grade teacher, and I would instruct my first graders to practice in a silly voice. It makes it more, it like encodes it in your brain a different way. So if you use like a monster voice or a squeaky mouse voice, I know it sounds silly, feels silly, then you will feel less silly on the call if you've already done it in a silly voice. So practice. But when you are on the phone with these lapsed members, couple things. You want to talk less than they do because they're going to give you information about what they might need or want to renew. You're going to have awkward pauses. Those are great because humans tend to jump in to fill in awkward pauses. If you leave an awkward pause, they're going to tell you more most of the time. Not always, but an awkward pause can be an invitation for them to speak more and maybe give more feedback. So plan your responses. I've given you so many sample responses in that Word doc. If you need something else, please let me know. Don't hesitate. I want to make sure you have everything that you need. And when you speak with someone on the phone or in any kind of a, kind of sales conversation, you want to end each turn, every time it's your turn to talk, you want to end that with a question to get them talking more. And that goes back to the talk less piece. There's an email template, or there's 3 email templates in your Word doc. If you should choose to write your own email, that's totally fine. Again, just trying to give you support where you want it. But if you do write your own email, try to keep it concise. One call to action if you can, links to anything you're asking them to do. And then email merge is a really incredible tool. If you got an email from me today, I did that with an email merge and it looks like I sent it just to you, but it's my email sent 600 separate emails. And I just clicked the button once. So there are links in the Word doc on how to do an email merge, which will make sure that everybody gets an individual email. I mentioned earlier, emails are not getting through as much. There's also deliverability rate, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but especially if you send a lot of emails, your deliverability rate can go down. Or if email servers think that you're spamming people, they will remove your email before it even gets to their spam folder. So when you send with an email merge, it sends you a one-on-one email from me, and then that is much more deliverable. Happy to talk more about the data and science behind that if you are interested. I did include a short text message template. Please only use this with people you already text with. Again, we don't want to be spamming people. I don't know if you all get those political fundraising text messages, but I send stop every time. We do not want people to feel that way about AGA. Please leverage social media. This is an easy way, like I've said 100 times already, everybody's busy. But if they're waiting in the carpool line or they're waiting at the doctor's office, they might be scrolling for a minute. And that might be a reminder that comes across their feed if they haven't seen any of our emails, right? So you're always welcome to share everything that AGA National posts. We'd love for you to tag us in your posts. Again, more information in this Word doc, as well as, excuse me, an additional guide to socials and a couple social templates there. So if you are not regularly using social media for your chapter, this might be a great time to start. We've given you a lot of tools to get started, and we, again, would love to support you with that. If you want to just meet to set up some social posts, we can do that. All right, I mentioned that we've already given you a bunch of sample responses. These are the sample responses that I've given with links. So if somebody tells you they're not planning to renew, please don't let that be the end of the conversation. We would love to know why. If there are small tweaks that we can make, if we find that everybody is saying the same reason, we want to know that information. Login assistance and account locked. That is something if their account is locked, they do need AGA staff. We sometimes hear that people click the forgot password button and then they never get the email to reset it. So we can reset it a different way if they need that. If somebody's retiring or they switched from government to private or vice versa, members are not able to change their own member type. We need to do that for them. So please reach out. If they tell you their employer isn't paying for it, I want you to think about why you're an AGA member and share a little bit of that with them. It's always best to kind of agree, but so you're not just, it doesn't feel like kind of an argument. Okay, I see some questions in the chat and I'm so sorry, we'll come back to those. Explain why it's valuable to you. Our membership is value priced. So maybe it's an investment they want to make in themselves. Maybe they want to come to your networking event so they can meet a new employer that does want to pay for their AGA membership. If they tell you they're not working right now, of course, we certainly feel for that. We, in our system, that falls into the government membership rate. So if they were a private member and they're not working right now, please communicate with us on that. We'll get them switched. If they are at DHS and currently not getting paid, please have them reach out to me or email them with me, and we'll talk about some accommodations that we're making for those. And then if they tell you they don't need CPEs, maybe they don't have to meet a threshold, but maybe they still want to stay current. AGA is a great source for thought leadership and training and networking. And so all that to say, whatever they say back when you ask, hey, we notice you haven't renewed, are you planning on renewing? That is information. They're going to tell you what their concern is or their hesitancy. Maybe they're curious about something. Maybe they want to renew and they just need to be able to justify it. So when you say, I pay for AGA membership because I know that I'm going to get X number of CPEs in the year for a very, for a discounted price, or so that I can maintain my CGFM, or whatever that reason is for you. When you justify it, it helps them justify it. So think through kind of what are they telling you if they have, one of these pieces of information. Again, if they're not planning to renew, do not let the conversation stop there. But if they tell you and you'll reach a point where, okay, this person is definitely not renewing, just, collect that information for us and let me know so we can take them off of that list for you. All right. So why hold an event? I did mention earlier event planning. I lost my speaker notes again. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm usually much better at PowerPoint than this. That's not it. Okay, well, I was going to give you a couple bullet points, but I know that John is going to say them too. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to John for a couple minutes, and he's going to talk about having a chapter event.
Well, thanks, Meredith, and thank you all for joining. You should feel tons of energy. We have nearly 200 people on this call who care about AGA and recognize that this is an absolute joint mission that we're on together. Getting 25% of these people back is nothing different than you hear if you listen to any local organization to create positive energy and the opportunity to reconnect. I see several people from the Richmond chapter on. So Winston and John, good to see you as well as always. You all know and can testify to the value of creating opportunities to work with other people and share the mission of AGA. So having an event around it, maybe it's with a Beta Alpha Psi chapter or a university. Maybe it's talking to an employer. I just got back from New York City where we had a great in-person event talking with people from ABNY, which is one of the biggest hitters in NYC. Love all the acronyms out there. So come ping me if you're interested. You're going to hear Meredith talk a lot and me talk a lot about we're here to work with you. If you don't email us and say we need help, we don't know that you need help. And we are here for you. This is a focused mission that we're on here at the national level to help you over the next 30 days. So if you haven't met me in person yet, talk to somebody who has. I can promise you the one thing you'll get from Meredith and I and everybody at National is energy. We recognize that you're volunteers. This is a volunteer job because you care and you want to make a difference. We are here to support you. You may have never made a cold call in your life or have done it once and didn't like it. Not a problem. We're here to hold your hand and help you with that particular process. You may get no's all the time. Remember, I'm a former elected official. I've had more doors slammed on me than I care to count. It's fine. We can help you through that process. What we need, and really you are the best people to do, is to understand those lists of members that Meredith is going to send out and how we can reach out to them. This is our opportunity to reaffirm why AGA matters, the value of our membership, the value of the community that we bring. And I will tell you, this is a really important time to have that story. Not only is it the 250th anniversary of what we're doing as a nation, not only is it springtime and energy and renewal systems are coming up, but there's lots of change in the air. There's lots of things that happen every day, including today. It would be remiss if we didn't say there's some big things happening at the Supreme Court today. We acknowledge that. Those information are real. People are thinking about it. They want to understand the community. They want to have conversations about what's happening. People at the heart, and I know this because I travel to chapters all across the US, want to connect with other people. We are the right venue for that. That is what AGA's mission has been for 75 years and will continue to be. So this is our opportunity to lead in. Our job is to get you the energy and support you need to make these calls, to reach out and talk to people, and to win them back over to, as Meredith said, something they've already signed up for. So if you want to hold an event and haven't, are interested in learning more, we're here to hold your hand. Book time on Meredith's calendar, and we'll help you with it. Meredith, I'm going to hand it back to you, but I'm happy to take any questions or highlight anything in addition. Let me just close by this. You've heard this before multiple times. If not now, then when? If not us, then who? This is the time to win these members back. We need you for the next 30 days, and we're here to help you every step of the way.
Thank you, John. Yes, always energy. So I did find my bullet points. The reasons to hold an event is that's the most direct expression of what AGA does. We bring people together, we strengthen the profession, and we support public servants with real learning. A re-engagement event can turn membership back into community and practical value, and can be the moment that someone decides to come back. So you'll notice when you look at the scripts that the very first thing asks, hey, are you coming to our upcoming event? And you might be sitting here going, we do not have an upcoming event. This is going to sound more rude than I intended, but why? Why don't you have an upcoming event? I've tried to give you some tips to simplify. If an event feels very overwhelming, let's look at a couple ideas to make it a little bit more accessible. Choose an event that's low lift. It could be networking. It could be let's meet at a coffee house at this time. It could be volunteering. We have chapters that volunteer at animal shelters and food banks and beach cleanups. And those places are always looking for you to come like yesterday, right? So you can set up a networking event or a volunteering event 3 weeks from now, and they would love to have you. If possible, choose something that's familiar, whether it's a venue you've been to before, an activity you've already done. You definitely want to get those familiar attendees, whether that's your members, your non-member people who have recently attended events or trainings with you, those familiar attendees. You definitely want to leverage your existing network and partners to get more people in the room, maybe find a space. Maybe you have a sponsor for the, snacks at that event, whatever that looks like, and leverage your workplace, get people talking about, your event and getting more people there. Because yes, you can have new members join at this event. Yes, I'm calling it a re-engaging event. But you should always be squeezing everything that you can out of every event, inviting new people and inviting back those people that may have lapsed. And then, as always, you want your event to feel welcoming. You want it to be a place that people want to come back to. And if they can't come, they're going to have FOMO. So, what does the ambiance feel like? Maybe you change the lighting or the music. And name tags, name tags, name tags. Even if everybody on your CEC knows everybody's names, I always love when there are name tags because I can just make sure, oh, I think your name is this. But now that I said it out loud, I'm not so sure. So that takes away that anxiety for a lot of people.
And Mary,
Again,
if I can
yes, go
pick on
ahead.
our Richmond chapter for a second, they've been planning an event on May 20th for the past several months. It is okay if this event is not in April. What you just need is an event on the calendar, something to do. And if you don't have an event or can't do something in the head, reach out to us. We're happy to work with you to host maybe a regional online event, networking social to connect people across your region or your area or with multiple chapters. The key to this, and look, it is a bit of a sales pitch, and we totally understand that, but you want people to have something to look forward to so that they're giving you money to continue on with the great relationship they decided to be a part of in a previous state, right? It is the same thing that PTAs do. It's the same thing that you see in any fundraiser, right? There is something to look forward to so they feel that immediate benefit to coming back into the membership space. We have lots of webinars listed out there for free CPEs. There's lots of ways to frame this so you can point people to something. And that is a classic trick that really helps people lock in and say in their mind, ooh, this is a value I'm getting to keep and drive my membership going forward.
Thank you, John. That's perfect. Yes. You can call them in April about an event that's in May and get them to rejoin in April so they get that member discount. And if you're not doing a member discount on your events, let's talk. So I included a couple FAQs here for the campaign, the mission, if you will. But if I see a couple questions in the chat, if you have questions so far, please go ahead and drop them while I tell you about these four FAQs. But I want to make sure I answer the questions that you have before we hang up. So you may already know AGA members can join up to 4 chapters simultaneously. If a member is in multiple chapters, you can find the primary chapter that they're in listed on your membership report. It's going to be, if you export it to Excel, it's going to be column M. But that's where the credit will go. It's just based on the way that our queries work in our system. If somebody needs a change to membership, I already mentioned this, whether they need to change their member type, change their chapter, anything they can't change when they log into My AGA, let us know. We'll get that changed for you. We are currently having a lot of emails. Give us a day or two to get those fixed for you. There are no fees or penalties to renewing your membership a little bit later. If you're suspended, there's no increased cost to come back. I did talk to somebody at a recent event who said, well, I'm going to wait till July so that I pay a year in July and it goes through next July. And that's just not how our membership works. It goes through March 31st. So waiting to renew in August, you're still paying through March 31st. So please encourage people, if they are waiting because they think they're going to save money, have them get that membership now because they're just not getting it now. Not getting that value now. And I mentioned this before, if somebody is furloughed because their agency or organization is closed, we want to know about that. We want to support them through that. So please have them reach out to me directly. All of that is in your Word doc. So I'm going to take a moment with the questions in the chat. Is there a way to see how many in your chapter were suspended? Yes. So as soon as we hang up from this, I am going to send your first weekly mission briefing that includes how many active members, how many suspended, and how many resigned. Our system loves to do current state. So unfortunately, we can't show you like a line graph of people renewing. But each week you'll get those 3 numbers from us, and hopefully you'll see numbers from the resigned and suspended move into the active column. Just a heads up, and again, this is in the Word doc, that active number does not include people who have joined since December 1st because those people don't need to renew. So this is the number of active people who needed to renew and have renewed. And then the suspended and resigned, when you add all of that together, that's how many members you had before December 1st. Or it should be. If it's not, let me know. So if you are, looking at that active number and thinking we have way more members than that, if they just joined in the last 3-4 months, they won't be counted in that because renewal season's not pertinent for them. Right. Next question. Can you send to the president of the chapter as well? Today it's going to one contact. We're looking to fix that for next week. Technology is clearly not my friend today. Talking about students. So students to renew, that is unfortunately a membership change if they need to renew. There is a script for people who were switched to early career and should still be a student. Sometimes we don't have the correct data on that. So please let us know if they're still a student and they have not worked for 1 year or more in government financial management. We want to change them back to a student. We just might not know all of them. Which contact is it going to? If we have a membership chair on file for you, it's going to them. If we don't, Dana filled in somebody that she's been in contact with recently. And please forward that to the rest of your CEC when you get it. But yes, students are counted in those suspended, resigned, active numbers for this campaign. Sent to webmasters. My hope is that next week it's going to every chapter leader that we have on file. But technology, we love it when it works. All right, well, I will definitely stick around for a few minutes for any questions that you might still have. Again, let me say this. All of these materials are going to be posted in chapter resources. Actually, let me just go ahead and show you where they are. Fun fact, I planned this with a space theme before I realized that there's a space launch today. If you didn't already know, it's hacgfm.org/chapter-resources, easy to remember. And you will now see a new menu here for the win-back campaign. That's everything you need here. So far, the social media guide and the templates are there. Those are evergreen. Those are not just for this challenge, but we wanted to make them, close at hand for this. The rest of the materials will be posted soon. They're just currently hidden so that the surprise was not spoiled. But that's where you can find all of that very shortly. And then I think I had one more slide that just says, thank you. We definitely can't do this without you. With 12,000 members, we cannot call everyone. We wish we could. We want to know everyone, but that's why we have chapters so that you can make AGA feel personal and local. And we are here to support you. We want to know if you need help. And if we don't hear from you, we assume that everything is going great. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your efforts. We will have those materials available to you very shortly. Email will come to you with your numbers shortly. You know where to find me if you have questions. We want to hear from you. And I'll stick around for about 5 minutes if you have any questions. Otherwise, thank you again, and we always love to see you. Alice, that's great. A few renewals with some personal contacts. That's what it's all about. Thank you.
Hey, Mary, that's it.
Hey, Winston.
I sent you an email, I think it was last week. Did you get it?
I will have to look. Probably. Yes. I've gotten so many emails. Yes.
Yeah, but I just sent you a quick email, so just in case you miss it, yeah.
Okay.
Go there.
Yeah. I'll look. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
To the people in our region that are no longer members.
I'm sorry?